On behalf of the board of the Philippine Bayanihan Society in Singapore, I welcome you to the Bayanihan Center. The Bayanihan Center has opened its doors to support the educational, social and cultural needs of Filipinos and others in Singapore. Thanks to the strong partnership between the government of the Philippines and Singapore and the initiative of our founding president, Ms. Jenny Chua, and Vice President, Mr. Ning de Guzman. Since its establishment in 2001, more than 13,500 people have undergone skills training at the Bayanihan Center. But the Bayanihan Center is located at 43 Pasir Panjang Road. It provides classrooms, facilities and support for volunteers and community groups to conduct various short-term courses including basic and advanced computer training, nursing aid, hotel and restaurant management, dressmaking, caregiving, cooking, and baking and cosmetology. To foster the socio-cultural ties between Filipinos and Singaporeans, we also organize the Bayanihan Walk. It is an annual event to bring together people from all across sectors of Singapore in a fun walkathon to promote integration of Filipinos with the Singaporean community. Tara na mak, Bayanihan Center na.
Good evening. Good evening to everyone. This is Dr. Eugene from the Philippine Bayanihan Society, Singapore. We're happy to have our Bayanihan talk for this evening. Home for Good, Roadmap, Leverage of an OFW in Singapore. And we're happy to welcome our speaker for tonight, Mr. Rico Desengaño. Mr. Rico is an accomplished executive wealth manager with a rich background bridging both Filipino and Singaporean financial expertise. Growing up in Singapore, Rico's career began as an insurance agent with AIA, and he later spent 4 years as a wealth manager at SG Alliance, a prominent financial advisory firm in Singapore. Rico has played a pivotal role in helping hundreds of Filipinos optimize their financial portfolios. His work has not only enabled clients to reduce insurance costs, but also to develop more robust investment strategies. Known for his personalized approach and commitment to client success, Rico delivers tailored financial solutions that aligns with each individual goals. Beyond his professional achievement, Rico has a notable background in amateur boxing. In his younger years, he actively competed in the local amateur boxing scene and secured several medals, a testament to his dedication and competitive spirit. Without further delay, Rico, kamusta? Magandang gabi.
Hello, Dr. Eugene. Magandang gabi po and magandang gabi to everybody. How's things? I hope everyone's having a great evening. Okay, so let's start. Today's topic, we'll be talking about the OFW Financial Roadmap, Home for Good Financial Roadmap, and the leverage of an OFW here in Singapore. Allow me to share my screen, everybody. All right. Thumbs up, everyone, if you can hear me. Thumbs up. Thumbs up sa chat box or sa Facebook comments. Yeah. Can everybody hear me? Thumbs up. All right. Let's go. Okay, so before we start, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Rico Desengaño. I'm a representative of an FA firm here in Singapore called SG Alliance. So a little bit of a background. 4 years I've been here in the financial advisory space for about 8 years now. I spent my first 4 years as an insurance agent with AIA and another 4 years and counting as a representative of an independent financial advisory firm called SG Alliance. In fact, our office is very, very near to Bayanihan Center. It's just across ARC, Alexandria Retail Center. So mainly, when Filipinos speak to me, all right, I help them create optimized solutions to achieve financial freedom. And as a result, my clients save more money, make more money, and of course, a clear path towards going home for good with financial strength, which is then our topic today. So before we start, I want to invite you guys to think. Imagine being home for good with your loved ones while still receiving your OFW salary. What a lovely thought, isn't it? Okay, so a quick explanation what's my designation. So here's a quick difference between an insurance agent and a representative from an FA firm. So an insurance agent, they meet the client, all right, and they introduce their insurance company. Yeah. Whereas a representative from a financial advisory firm, which is me, we meet the client and we ask the clients, ano po yung need ninyo? What is it that you need? If you're an OFW, how many more years do you intend to stay in Singapore? For instance, 10 years. And this particular OFW wants to receive, let's say, 50,000 pesos per month after 10 years of being an OFW. So with all those prerequisites, what we do is we access multiple insurance companies, multiple investment platforms, and other financial solutions for this OFW to achieve his financial goals. And of course, the question is, how are we able to do that? Because in SG Alliance, this financial advisory firm, we are partnered with 14 life insurance partners. If we're talking about insurance, 27 group and general and group insurance partners. If we're talking about car insurance, home insurance, travel insurance, and of course, pag ang pag-uusapan natin is investments, we're partnered with 37 international investment fund houses. So having all of this, having access to multiple financial companies, allows me to better cater to each client's personal needs, goals, and suitability. Ayan. So here's some of our provider, we provide AIA, China Life Insurance, FWD, Manulife, Income, Raffles, Sing Life, Sun Life even. If we're talking about insurance, which leads to unbiased solutions that fits everyone. And of course, if we're talking about general and group insurance, helper insurance, car insurance, these are our partners. And lastly, if we're talking about investments, these are our investment fund houses, fund managers that we have access to so our clients can achieve their investment needs. And of course, a rough idea what our clients go through when they engage us is number one, clarity, because every financial solution that you take must have clarity. For instance, you're taking up an investment strategy, and you're gonna use it as a form of a home for good pension when you go back home to the Philippines. Yes, we can at least the financial solutions that you take up it's like a light at the end of the tunnel, diba? After 10 years, you can expect na okay, by then tapos na ako mag-OFW. I go back home to the Philippines and I'm receiving say 50,000 pesos to whichever amount that a client is looking for. And then secondly, our clients go through optimization. So with us, we help our clients spend less to get more benefits. Dahil nga we're accessed with different companies, financial companies, we're able to audit your existing insurance portfolio and, of course, identify areas of overpaying and redundancies. Lastly, passive income. So passive income basically is money that goes into your bank account without you having to work. So with us, we can help our clients set up an account that will eventually lay eggs and of course, may passive income na pumapasok sa kanila dahil ang ultimate goal when it comes to financial planning is having passive income and passive income that is higher than your expenses. Ayan. So of course, with this, you can ascertain your current and future income needs and build and secure retirement or home for good income streams. All right. Before I start with the presentation proper, allow me to share a disclaimer. I'm just gonna read this out pretty quickly. The information provided in this webinar is solely for educational purposes and should not be considered as financial advice. Any views, opinions, references, assertions of face, and or other statement expressed are solely made in the personal capacity of the presenter and do not represent the views, statement, or opinions of, nor are they made on behalf of SGA. This presentation is intended for general information circulation only and does not constitute investment advice, a recommendation, an offer, or solicitation to subscribe for, purchase, or sell the investment products mentioned herein. Please seek advice from an FA representative regarding to the suitability of the services mentioned, taking into account your specific investment objectives, financial situation, or particular needs. Before making a commitment to purchase, in the event that you choose not to obtain advice from an FA rep, you should assess and consider whether the service is suitable for you before purchase. That's our disclaimer. Okay, let's start our Home for Good roadmap, the leverage of an OFW in Singapore. Who's ready? Thumbs up if ready na kayo. Let's go. Thumbs up if you're ready. Come on, guys. I need to see the same energy. Thumbs up when you're ready. Thumbs up. All right. Let's go. Okay. Let's talk about the leverage of an OFW. What's so good about being an OFW, guys? Okay, being an OFW, kadalasan kasi when we're here when we go abroad and we leave our families back home in the Philippines, we seek, better job opportunities. We seek higher salary. And of course, when we're overseas and we're working abroad, we are looking to provide a better quality of life for our families. Yan. So, kaya nga tayo nag-OFW is because we want to, gusto natin yung buhay ng family natin sa Pinas will be a lot better. And that's the cost of better job opportunities and higher salary. Ayun yung leverage ng isang OFW. However, one problem that most OFWs have is that although nakaka-provide ka ng mas magandang buhay sa family mo and you have a higher salary, nalayo ka naman sa pamilya mo. So here's the hardest question for every OFW. Gaano katagal mo gustong malayo sa mga mahal mo sa buhay? Let that sink in. Diba? Hindi naman po pwedeng forever tayong OFW. Tama ba? And of course, I'm not saying that hindi tayo pwedeng umuwi sa Pinas whenever we decide to. However, we could potentially face a few problems if we decide to go home today or umuwi tayo sa Pinas, right? So firstly, the income in the Philippines is not as high as our income here in Singapore. Number two, medyo mas mahirap bayaran yung mga liabilities. Kasi syempre, when your income is higher here in Singapore, the expenses of your families back home will also increase. So for instance, you have a better car, you bought a new house, mortgage, kailangan bayaran, and of course, kids are going to better schools, yung parents mo pa. So when you go back home, your income is not high enough to sustain all those responsibilities, which will then result to change in your family's lifestyle. So ayun yung problema ng isang OFW if he decides to go home today without preparing. So, which brings us back. The problem is pera. Money is the problem. But at the same time, money is also the solution. Ayan. So in this webinar, we will talk about how we can use our money here in Singapore to give us more money back in the Philippines at the same time for a longer period or para hindi masayang yung pag-OFW natin. Yan. So ngayon, we have already established our problem. Okay? So with that problem, what must an OFW do to solve this problem? Okay, the first step, okay, is you must have a concrete financial strategy to achieve going home for good by said time horizon through achieving financial freedom. So let me explain what financial freedom is, by the way. Okay, the definition of financial freedom could be subjective to everyone. Some people will say na financial freedom, pwede ako bumili ng kahit ano. Anything I want to buy, I will buy it. Yes, that could be financial freedom, but a better description of what financial freedom is kung meron kang perang pumapasok sa bangko without having to work that is higher than your expenses. So for instance, yung expenses mo per month is 2,000 SGD and meron kang passive income na 2,500. That is financial freedom kasi kahit hindi ka mag-work next month, meron ka pa rin 2,500 na pumapasok sa bank mo to pay for your liabilities or your responsibilities. Compared to someone, let's say, he's earning 10,000 SGD or 15,000 SGD, but your expenses niya is 9,000 and he doesn't have passive income. The person who's earning less would then be more financially free because his passive income is higher than his expenses. So which means financial freedom actually, it's not about how much you're earning. It's about how much money is coming into you without having to work that is higher than your expenses. Ayun ang financial freedom. Okay, so I basically just explained that the ultimate goal, the ultimate money goal is to be financially free. Yun nga, financial freedom is when you are receiving passive income that is higher than your total necessary expenses. Excuse me. Okay, so first, how do you achieve financial freedom? That's one question. Okay, how do you achieve financial freedom? First, what you must do is you must establish first, how long do you intend to be an OFW in Singapore, which is then your time horizon. Guys, if you have pens and papers, please magsulat kayo. I would suggest you to write down notes because we've done this webinar a few times already and it has helped a lot of Filipinos. Yeah, I encourage you guys to write down notes. So first thing you must do to achieve financial freedom or to go home for good is to establish how long do you intend to be an OFW in Singapore. That's number one. So it could be 10 years, it could be 5 years, it could be 15 years. It's up to you. Okay, write it down. Next question you must ask. How much do you want to receive in the Philippines per month as passive income from Singapore pag uwi mo sa Pilipinas? All right, so let's say kanina you wrote down 10 years from now, mag-for good ka na. Now, you want to write down magkano yung gusto mo matanggap from Singapore to the Philippines. So it could be 50,000, could be 100,000 pesos, could be 80,000 pesos. It's up to you. Write it down, write it down. Okay, so now that you have write it down, you roughly have some sort of a blueprint or an expectation or something to look forward to. Na in 10 years time, I'm gonna receive 50,000 pesos per month pag uwi ko sa Pilipinas while I'm with my family. However, to achieve this, it isn't that easy. The first thing you must do basically is you must have total control of your money. Okay, so by having control is you must have a solid money management. Okay, so which I will be talking about in this webinar, kung paano mag-manage ng money. Let me introduce to you the 6-jar system. So the 6-jar system is a money management system that even I myself and many of my clients and my investors are using to manage their money. Okay, write this down, guys. If you have a pen or paper, write this down. 6-jar system. Okay, 6 jars money management is basically you separating all your income into 6 separate jars or accounts. Okay, and each account will have a distinct function and will serve different purposes in your journey towards financial freedom. Okay, so just credits to T. Harv Eker because he wrote this book, and itong money management na ito is from his book called Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. All right. So 6 jars money management. So there's 6 jars. The first jar is necessity account, which is NEC. Write this down. That's 55% of your income. Second jar is your FFA, financial freedom account. Third jar is your edu account, which is then education, but not education for your children, but education for yourself, like self-improvement, like that. Fourth is your LTSS. LTSS is your long-term savings account. Long-term savings account, correct. Should be the LTSA actually. That's 10% of your income. And your play account. So play account is, your enjoyment, your leisure, your hobbies. And lastly, of course, your gift account, which is then 5% of your income. And this goes to charity, or you can use it to give it as a present to your children or your loved ones, right? Okay. So come on, let's go through a little deeper towards these accounts. Ano ba tong mga accounts na to? What are these for? Okay? So let's go to NEC account. NEC stands for necessity. All right? Necessity account is 55% of your income. So this necessity, being necessity, nandiyan yung bills mo, that's your credit card, that's your rent, mortgage, insurance, food, padala sa Pinas, loans, everything that you must pay. Necessity nga, di ba? Necessity. So that's 55%. Write it down. Number 2, long-term savings account. So long-term savings account is 10% of your income. And basically, ito yung parang emergency fund mo. This money stays in your bank account until there's an emergency. So for example, nasira yung fridge, yung ref mo, or yung kotse mo nasira, o kailangan mong paayos, you take the money from your long-term savings account. Ipon lang, just in case of emergency. That's your LTSA, 10% of your income. Next is your FFA account. FFA account stands for Financial Freedom Account. That's 10% of your income. So this money must go somewhere that will lead to your financial freedom, which is creating passive income. Ito yung account na magdidictate kung kailan ka uuwi ng Pinas or kung magkano yung marireceive mo pag nag-home for good ka na. All right, later we'll go deeper into that, into FFA account. And next is your edu account. Edu account stands for education. So education basically is not education for your children, but rather education for yourself or self-improvement. So for instance, gym membership, kung nag-exercise ka. Next, self-improvement courses, skill set workshop. Basically, any subscription that leads to your self-improvement. And that's 10% of your income. Okay? Account number 5 is your play account. Play account is for your luxury, for your entertainment, and that's 10% of your income. You can allocate this account for things that you enjoy. So let's say, iipunin mo lang siya to travel. Or kung mahilig ka lumabas every week for nights out, yes, you can use that, 10% of your income. Hobbies, if you like to play volleyball, you like to play basketball, tennis, you use this account to fund all these entertainment activities. And lastly, the gift account. To me, this is one of the most important ones. Gift is your charity account. That is basically 5%. Okay? Sino dito yung naniniwala na to give is to receive? Thumbs up if you do. Thumbs up. Write it down on the comments. Thumbs up kayo guys if you believe that to give is to receive. All right. Okay. So now, right? Life is an ecosystem. Giving out to the society and to the needy. This account, itong gift account na to, can also serve as your budget for your birthdays, birthday presents, Christmas presents, etc. So iniipon mo lang yan until may biglang magbo-birthday. And then you use this gift account to buy those presents. Or you can use that for instance, tithes ng church ninyo, or charities at church. Pag nagsimba ka, you can use this gift account. Ayan. So these are your 6 jars of six-jar system. Ito yung 6 accounts. Now, right now, I will be showing you a live example of how somebody can take control of their money. Okay? So now I'll be showing you my Excel sheet. Kita nyo ba yung Excel sheet, guys? Kita nyo po ba? Oh, yes. Okay, kitang-kita. Okay, so this is the 6 jars Excel sheet. Okay, so I created this to track my own expenses, and many of my clients are using this also to track their expenses. So for instance, a particular individual is earning 5,000 per month, just to make it easier to calculate. In this Excel sheet, you know, every month tuwing sahod, ilalagay niya lang yung income niya dyan. Okay, so this Excel sheet, naka-program na to in a way na makikita mo kung magkano yung dapat mong ilalaan para dun sa iba't ibang account na gagawin mo according to the 6 jars money management. So in this case, 55% of a 5,000 is 2,750. So itong 2,750 na to, ito yung gagamitin mo to pay for your rent dito sa Singapore, to pay for your food, to pay for your insurance, to pay for your transportation, yung mga kailangan mong gastusin, yung bills mo, yeah, phone bills, PUB, I mean yung electricity, water, and all that. So ito yung nakalaan na amount to pay for that. Next is your FFA account. Again, that's 10% of your income. So that makes it $500 per month. Itong 500 na to, this money must strictly go to somewhere na eventually magbibigay sa'yo ng passive income. Alright? So basically, invest 500 per month, 500, 10% ng income mo without fail. Okay? Later, we'll go deeper into FFA. I'll show you a live example on how an OFW can use this FFA to get his home for good plan accordingly. Next is yung LTSA account mo. So that's your long-term savings account. So that's 10% of your income, $500 per month na itatabi mo lang sa bangko. You don't use it unless na merong emergency. Okay, that's LTSA. Next is Edu account. So Edu account is another 10% of your income. So that's another $500. Goes to Edu account, maybe nag-gym ka. Let's say Anytime Fitness. Magkano bang Anytime Fitness ngayon? Think about $99 or $100. So that $100 for Anytime Fitness or any gym membership, you know, will come from the Edu account because self-improvement siya. Next is your Play account. That's another 10% of your income. Ito yung budget mo. Kung mahilig ka lumabas, kung mahilig kang uminom, go. May 500 ka per month if you're earning 5,000. Or if you like to play sports, you have 500 to fund that sport. And then lastly, your gift account. So gift account is another 5% of your income. Ito yung account, ito yung money na pwede mong iset aside for gift giving or charity. So now, knowing that ito yung hihiwalay nung income niya, if this particular person was to follow the 6 jars money management for the whole year, ito yung magiging outcome ng income niya, ng pera niya. So, looking at this, the past 12 months, this particular person has invested roughly $6,000 per month. And let's say itong FFA na to, he put it in an investment platform that earns him, say, 8% per month. So, syempre, nandiyan na yung compounding interest niyan. Diba? And then next, LTSA account. So, LTSA account, let's say, during the year, walang emergency na nangyari. Hindi nasira yung fridge niya, yung kotse niya was all running well. Of course, $6,000, nasa bangko niya lang yan as emergency fund. Next, Edu account. So, let's say itong particular person na to, he doesn't go to the gym. Then, nasa bangko niya lang rin yan, 6,000. Okay, if he goes to the gym, then minus off yung monthly subscription niya. Next, Play account, 10%. So 500. Let's say this particular person is syempre kailangan when you're managing your finances well, at the same time, it's very important also that we do things that make us really happy. So for instance, this particular guy just ginamit niya yung 500 niya per month for his hobbies and entertainment. Then let's just say na naubos niya na to. And then lastly, gift account. So gift account 250 per month. Let's say na walang nag-birthday. All right? And naghihintay lang siya na umuwi ng Pinas in December for Christmas. And basically, itong 3,000 na to, ito yung budget niya pang padala. You know, that's one of the common things na pinagagastos sa nating mga OFW. Padala. And also pasalubong, di ba? So that $3,000, he can set aside that. He can use that pag uwi niya sa Pilipinas every Christmas. Yan. So this is just roughly an example of how you can use the 6 jars money management. And of course, itong Excel na to, later I will send it to you guys because I encourage you all to manage your finances well. And also, itong 6 jars money management na to is a good way as well to see if you are financially healthy. Diba? Kasi many of us, our necessities sometimes, what? 80% of our income. Diba? And then we don't have savings. Minsan hindi tayo nag-iipon. Minsan, gastos muna, then saka lang mag-iipon. Diba? But if you have a proper money management method, then it will definitely give you a better outcome in terms of your finances. Looking at this, kung marunong ka mag-manage ng finance mo, di ba, parang hindi mo nararamdaman yung mga last-minute expenses. O for instance, nasira yung appliances mo. Suddenly, you have an extra expenses this month. Di ba, minsan masakit. But if you have money that you set aside for it every month, then it wouldn't really affect you that much. Ayan. So that's your 6 jars money management. That's a live example. Ayan. Okay. So later I will send you guys itong Excel na to. And then, of course, you'll be able to use it on your own personal money management. Now let's move on to the next one. Okay. So the next one is, let's get deeper into the FFA account. Kasi ang topic today is Home for Good roadmap. Paano ba tayo makagawa ng Home for Good roadmap? How do we assure na uuwi tayo eventually? Kasi madami tayong kaibigan or we know a lot of people na, wow, 10 years na, 20 years na sa Singapore, hindi makauwi kasi yung income hindi ganun kalaki sa Pilipinas. Renew lang ng renew ng pass, you know, and then nalayo sila sa pamilya nila for many years. Diba? So now, how do we use the FFA account para ma-achieve natin yung passive income goals natin? Hence, going home for good. Okay. So, yung FFA mo, you should actually invest it. And then when you invest it, the purpose of investment, it's not as simple as wealth accumulation or magpapatubo ka lang ng pera. No. Ang purpose ng investment mo is to basically have this, is basically makaipon ka ng enough capital na mangingitlog ng passive income mo eventually pag uuwi ka na. Okay, so here's a few examples that you can consider. First, ito alam nyo na to, real estate. So by real estate, for instance, meron kang $500, di ba? Let's say 5,000 yung income mo per month. Sa FFA mo may 500 ka. So let's go to real estate, let's say. Then yung 500 mo, ipambayad mo yun sa real estate, sa bahay, bili ka ng bahay. Then eventually, rent it out. So pag pinarentahan mo siya, yung rental income mo becomes your passive income. Now the question is whether enough siya sa'yo or hindi. Diba? That's one example. There are so many more examples, but I'll give you two. The second is financial markets. So financial markets, so investing sa mga exchange traded funds, unit trust, derivatives, commodities like gold, yan, silver, yan. So now, the purpose of financial markets is the same. You accumulate enough capital na magbibigay sa'yo capital na mangingitlog ng passive income according to your needs. So kunwari nakaipon ka ng, easier to calculate, nakaipon ka ng 100,000, just for example, during that 10 years. And then during that 10 years, sabihin natin yung dividends nung passive income account or nung investment account is 10%. So that means meron kang 10% per annum na dividend or na tubo. So yung 10% na yun, ayun yung itlog or yung passive income na ma-receive mo per month pag uwi mo sa Pilipinas. So let's say 10% of 100,000 is 10,000. So yung 10,000 na yan, times 43. So that's your conversion to Filipino pesos. So 10,000 times 43, magkano yun? That's 430,000 per year. Now divided by 12. Ayun yung monthly passive income mo pag sa financial markets ka. Okay? So now, okay, don't worry guys, later magkakaroon tayo ng Q&A. Then you can ask me some questions, in case na medyo complicated itong financial markets. But these are just we're just going through like a rough concept on how we can create passive income. Yeah. So today, okay, now let's do a live case study of an OFW who is here in Singapore. Okay guys, makinig kayo. This is gonna be interesting. So, for instance, itong si John, all right? Let me introduce to you John. John is 40 years old and he is an IT specialist. Okay? And he intends to work in Singapore for 10 years only. Kakasampa niya lang ng Singapore, 40 years old siya. Gusto niya umuwi ng Pinas by 50. Dito sa Singapore, he earns about $5,000 monthly. And now, at the end of 10 years, gusto niya, pag uwi niya sa Pilipinas, may matatanggap siyang 40,000 pesos per month kada buwan pag uwi niya sa Pilipinas. So there's a few things that he can do. Firstly, syempre, anong una niyang kailangan gawin? Kapag OFW ka, what's the first thing you must do? You must have total control of your money management. So now let's talk about John. John earns $5,000. So that means he has $500 to invest. Diba? So, itong $500 na to, all right, this $500 is ilalagay niya to somewhere na eventually na magbibigay sa kanya ng passive income. So, a rough example would be something like this. Allow me to share my iPad. Okay, so here's John's timeline. So, what is John's timeline? Guys, thumbs up if kita niyo yung iPad, yung drawing, ha? Do you guys see the drawing? Yes? Nice. Okay. So, John's timeline. So, John is 40 years old today. And then he wants to go back home to the Philippines at age 50. So, ang gagawin ngayon ni John is yung $500 niya from his financial freedom account, iipunin niya lang yan hanggang age 50. So of course at age 50, 'di ba? Ma-receive niya yung capital niya. So that's his capital. So let's say 500, so 6,000 times. So $500 per month, 6,000 per year, 6,000 times 10 years. So total na naihulog niya sa passive income niya or naipon niya in his FFA is 60,000 SGD. Ngayon, of course, pag ininvest niya tong 500 niya, let's say yung tubo niya is just for a rough calculation, 8% ang tubo. So, of course, itong 6,000 at 60,000 na to, ito capital lang to. So if he's investing somewhere that is roughly giving him 8% per annum, then his capital will then be, oops. Okay, this is what we call the TVM calculator. Yeah, this is a good tool. So 6,000 yung ini-invest niya and he's doing it per year. And sabihin natin, just for a quick calculation, 8% ang returns. In a period of 10 years, annually, meron siyang may ipon na about 99,000 if he's investing as such. So after 8% na returns, for example, so meron siyang about 99,000, let's round it up, so 100K yung naipon niya. Ngayon yung 60,000 niya, naging 100K na. Itong 100,000 na to, ang magdidictate kung magkano yung passive income niya pag uwi. So, 50. Nasa Pinas na siya. Ngayon, inipon niya to habang nag-OFW siya sa Singapore. Itong 100,000 na to, sabihin natin, ang tubo niya is 10% per annum. Okay, just for example, 10% per annum. So, ibig sabihin, kada taon, itong 100,000 na to, mangingitlog siya ng 10K per annum. SGD. Ngayon, divided by 12 times 43 para maging pesos siya. So, ayun yung magiging passive income niya. Ito yung rough strategy ni John using his FFA account to achieve his home for good plans. Ayun. So, let's go back to him. So, now this John found a structured investment vehicle to contribute his FFA. So, ayun, nakahanap na siya. Number 3, of course, create projections to see if passive income goal is achievable in 10 years. So, ayun nga, may 500 siya per month, in-invest niya, lumalaki ng 8% roughly. Yung end goal at the end of 10 years was 100,000 SGD. Ngayon, yung 100,000 SGD na yun, let's say yung passive income niya is 10%, and then divided by 12, ayun yung passive income, ayun yung ma-receive niya pagdating niya sa Pilipinas. Ayan. So which is of course coming from Singapore. Okay, so basically ayun yung strategy to to create passive income para makauwi ka na sa Pilipinas. Imagine receiving 30,000 pesos or 50,000 pesos per month habang nasa Pilipinas kapag uwi mo. So ayun, that's a way for you to achieve your home for good aspirations. So here's a few Filipinos or friends that I've helped, in terms of this business. Ayan, so si Alexis, I met him in a basketball. So ito si Alexis is he's very interesting kasi you see he used to be with an insurance agent, and when he met me, I gave him a few options of how he can reduce his insurance costs. And of course, eventually pag uwi na to ni Alexis, he's gonna be going home and receive 50,000 pesos per month from Singapore to the Philippines. Ayan, si Sir Mayo, and a few more nice words about myself. So, medyo maganda yung mga sinasabi nila. And lastly, I would like to share with you as well, a video of this particular friend of mine who's currently in Canada. Dati, nagtatrabaho sa Singapore. Now he's in Canada and he's currently receiving passive income.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dave, and I know Rico for a very long time. In fact, we have been competing together nung nasa national team pa kami ng Singapore boxing team. And then after that, during that time, I took some insurance from a friend of mine. And at that time, wala pa akong alam sa insurance. All I know that it will protect me in case something else happens to me. And then a few years later, when I met Rico again, he is a broker now. And the good thing about it is, nakapag-compare kami ng iba-ibang insurance company, and then he helped me find the one that is suitable for me and kung ano yung makakatulong sa akin sa goals ko. So Rico helped me to grow together my financial portfolio, and then at the same time as well, yung binabayaran kong insurance dati, napakamahal pala, and he helped me reduce it by about 30%. And now he has helped me through the fund that we did together nung na-build namin to grow my portfolio and help me get passive income through dividends. And because of that, I wanted to thank you, Rico, so much for helping me out with my financial goals. Kahit wala na ako sa Singapore, at least nakaka-benefit ako sa tinulong mo at saka sa ginawa mo sa akin. Maraming salamat. Have a good one. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. So that's
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dave.
So that's one of my clients who's Dave. Ayan. So currently his story is he used to study here in Singapore. Nakasama ko siya sa boxing and all that. And then he nag-work na siya, and then he created, he did his money management, and eventually, he accumulated enough capital. Ngayon nasa Canada na siya, and he's receiving passive income from Singapore to Canada. Ayan. Okay. So guys, like I said, I promised you all na I will be sharing with you yung 6 jars money management na Excel template. Guys, I encourage you, scan the QR code. Scan the QR code so that I can send you yung Excel sheet. Okay, I'll be 1 minute ko lang itong i-flash. Scan, guys. Scan, everybody. Scan. I guarantee you this is gonna help you. Scan niyo po. Oh, hello. Hi. Yun, may nag-scan na. Yes, I will send it to you. We'll send you shortly. I will send you. Ayan. Hello, Mai. Yes, I will send you the 6 jars money management para, so you can take hold of your financials. Hi, Jen. What's up, Jen? Elaine. Magandang gabi po. Nice. Hi, Glaze. Hi, Joy May. Hello. Good evening. I will send you the 6 jars money management later and also a PDF kung paano magbukas ng iba't ibang bank account sa Singapore para mas madali mag-transfer. Every sahod, you can transfer yung allocation. Yeah, allocation ng 6 jars money management nyo. Then of course, I guarantee you, mas magiging maganda yung management nyo in terms of your finances. And I hope that this can value add you guys. Hi, Joy. Good evening. Okay, guys. I will screenshot itong I believe that this webinar is live on Facebook. You know, pwede niyo pong ma-scan itong QR code na to reach out to me so I can send you the Excel sheet. But for now, I will have to move on to our presentation. Okay, now, question and answer. Okay, let's start. Dr. Eugene, let's start our question and answer. If you have any questions, you can write it down on the chat box, or you can write it down on the Facebook Live comments, and I will try my best to answer your questions. Any questions, everybody?
Thank you, Rico. There's a question sent to me directly. So the first question is, do you need to have a separate account dedicated to savings and emergency fund? Which are the pros and cons of using credit cards, and how can one use them responsibly?
Very nice. Very beautiful question. Okay, to answer the first question, I would suggest that your savings account, okay, by savings, meaning your emergency account, yung LTSA, long-term savings account, should be on a separate account. Because sometimes we tend to use, kasi sometimes we have this thing called mental saving. We just think about, okay, every month, magsasave ako ng 1,000 SGD. Then sometimes we forget na dapat we don't touch that 1,000, di ba? So I would suggest na you put that 1,000 somewhere else and then only access it when you really need it. Okay? I hope that answered your question. Second question, how to use credit card. Okay, credit cards is good. This is my opinion. Credit cards are good, but you must have discipline. So, like I said, yung money management natin, according to the 6 jars money management, is 55% of your income, di ba? So if you're easier to calculate, let's say 1,000 yung income mo per month, and then your necessity account is $550 per month, di ba? So you must then limit the use of your credit card to $550. Kasi ayun yung necessity mo. Diba? You can use that using your credit card app or your bank app to set the limit. Kasi napaka-importante ng management ng ng credit card. And of course, using a credit card, you get a few discounts. Like myself, I use credit card to get gas dito sa Singapore. Ang mahal ng gas dito. So when I top up yung gas ng car ko, no, I use credit card kasi I can get 15% discount, di ba? And then maybe pag nagsishengsyong ka, if you go to grocery, different grocery stores have different partnership with credit cards, which can give you further discounts sa grocery ninyo. Ayan. So I would say use your credit card, but use it wisely. With great power comes great responsibility. Ika nga ni Spider-Man. Teka, si Batman ba yun? Ne, Spider-Man pala. Yes. I hope that answered your question. Any more question, guys?
Thank you very much, Mr. Rico. That's a very helpful advice to our viewers tonight. I receive another question. The question is it acceptable to take out a loan to pay off another loan? Interesting.
Oof. Okay. Okay, so when you take up a loan, you know, meron pong interest. All right? Meron pong interest. So, halimbawa, pag umutang ka, then your monthly interest is let's say 5% per annum. Kapag umutang ka ulit, tapos ginamit mo yun, pambayad ng another loan, then it only means na dumodoble yung interest mo. 'Di ba? Kasi ang loan talaga is, ang kalaban mo dyan is yung interest rate. So to me personally, you know, I wouldn't use loans to pay off a loan. And in the first place, dapat ang loan natin is we do healthy loans only. So what I mean by healthy loans is you loan to maybe fund a business. Kuwari may business ka, business loan is a healthy loan. Ano pa? Mortgage loan is a healthy loan. So basically loans that can potentially make you more money or give you more passive income or profits. Ayun. But using a loan to pay for another loan, as far as I'm concerned, I can see na tataas lang yung interest rate mo. Kasi iba-iba yung interest rate niyan. E di doble na yung kailangan mong bayaran, di ba? Yeah, I hope that answered your question. Wait, unless time is your enemy, di ba? Kumbari, kailangan mo na talagang bayaran or ano. But of course, there are other options. Eh. I'm sure you have friends or family who can help you out for the time being or something. But I wouldn't suggest taking up a loan to pay a loan, right? I hope that answered your question, ma'am. Sir.
Thank you very much. Another question on the chat box. How are OFWs investment protected in times of pandemic or global recession or conflict among countries? Will their capital be guaranteed or losses can occur during the period? Thank you.
This is a very good question. Very, very good question. Okay, so this question, I commonly get asked this question. Okay, so in Singapore, there's a few ways to there's a few ways na pwedeng maapektuhan yung investments mo. All right? So it could be number one. Okay, let's call it risks, all right? There's a few risks. First risk is default risk. So default risk is basically pag kuwari nagsara yung pinag-investan mo. Let's say you invested in a company, tas nagsara siya, then that's called default risk. Or ano, hindi morally good yung company, scam or something. That's called default risk. Next risk, market risk. So market risk, nandyan yung kunwari, you're investing in S&P 500, sabihin natin. And suddenly, S&P 500 basically is the top 500 companies in the US. Let's say sa S&P 500 ka nag-invest. Ngayon, may nangyari sa US. Tapos lahat ng market price nagbagsakan. So this is what we call market risk. So nagbagsakan, then what ang outcome sa iyo niyan kung hindi mo na pull out yung investment mo? Di syempre you're gonna go through that downturn or bearish movement of the market. We call bearish meaning pababa, yeah? So there are many ways to do this. Importantly, you need to consult someone who knows how to protect your money because yes, in investments or investing in the financial markets, there are market risks. So kunwari bigla nagkagera, yeah, nagkagera. Paano ngayon yan? Damn, paano ngayon yan? So you need a professional who knows how to manage these kind of risk. So for instance, nag-invest ka sa isang equity. Equity A. Okay, let's call it equity A and equity B. Let's say nag-invest ka kay equity A. And ang holdings niya, yung industry niya, let's say, is consumer staples. All right? Consumer staples. Tapos, equity B is healthcare. Tapos ngayon, nangyari, pandemic. Okay? So, pandemic. So, yung consumer staples, walang pumupunta sa restaurant, bawal lumabas. So, bumagsak, di ba? Bumagsak. Tapos, at the same time, syempre, healthcare, everybody's getting their jabs, everybody's going to the hospital, yung price ng healthcare industry, tumataas, di ba? So, if you have a professional who knows how to manage your finances in terms of economical downturns, for instance, nasa equity A ka, and you engage a professional who knows what he's doing, with the fundamental news na nagsasabing may pandemic, yung FA mo, he will automatically advise you to, hey sir, today pandemic, healthcare is gonna boom. Okay? Switch mo yung funds mo into that healthcare. So this is a way for you to prevent getting substantial losses in your market. Kasi investment hindi siya set and forget eh. Dapat merong management talaga yan. Kasi the world, umiikot ang mundo. 'Di ba? Hindi laging Sunday. So we have to be able to know how to manage our investments. Yeah, I hope that answered your question. If you are looking to get deeper into to invest, you can engage me, you can talk to me, okay? All right. May question po sa chat from Ann. Okay ba yung stock market? Yes, depende kung saan ka. But stock market is basically just another platform or avenue for you to get profits. Okay, kaso depende kung saang stock ka kung anong stock ba bibilin mo. O recently, anong stock ba yung gumalaw recently? Nvidia, gumalaw ang Nvidia recently, yung mga ganun. So, you need professional advice to know where to do it, or you must educate yourself on how to manage your stock trading or stock investment. Yeah, there's so many ways. If you wanna get into details, how you can do this, you can always contact me, of course. Any more questions? And I hope that answered your question.
Thank you, Mr. Rico. So we're reaching the end of our talk, but there's another question. Hopefully, mapagbigyan mo to, Mr. Rico. The question is, what advice can you give to OFW who have worked abroad for a long time but haven't managed their finances properly? And now aging and planning to return home. Tumatanda na daw po sila. Wala pang ipon. Yan.
Okay. What I can advise is you should start now, okay? Starting late is better than not starting at all. Kasi pag hindi ka nag-start, when you go back home to the Philippines, you're basically back to zero. Ayun lang masasabi ko. And the types of investment that you're looking for, dapat is yung liquid. Hindi siya yung dapat yung mga pang long term na 15 years, 20 years. Kasi, I've seen a lot of portfolios, Filipino OFW portfolios here. Laging may mga portfolios sila na they got somewhere else na 10 years, 15 years, yung mga ganun. However, kasi ang OFW kasi 2 years to 3 years lang ang pass natin. So bakit ka kukuha ng mga long term, 'di ba? So basically dapat kumukuha ka ng mga open-ended accounts, yung mga short term lang to make sure na even if your pass doesn't get renewed, safe ka pa din, hindi mawawala yung yung capital mo or maglalapse or something. Oh, there's a question here. Paano mag-open or mag-enroll ng insurance ko? Well, Miss Ann, kasi I represent multiple insurance companies and I also represent multiple investment fund houses. So basically, easier to describe myself. Para po akong broker ng mga finances, I would say. Paano mag-enroll? If you're looking for insurance, we can discuss and I can show you different companies kung ano yung pinakamaganda sa budget, kung ano yung magfulfill ng insurance needs mo if insurance ang hinahanap nyo. However, kung investments, then we will talk and we're gonna talk about your risk appetite. Ano yung time horizon nyo? Gaano katagal nyo pa gusto mag-work dito sa Singapore? and how much you want to receive eventually when you go home for good. That's if you're an OFW. Yan. Sir Eugene, meron pa pong question dito. Anong bangko po dito ang pwede i-open to save your money lang, then withdraw mo lang if mag for good na? Thank you. Okay, anong bangko? Guys, okay, so I hope na you understand what I'm about to say. So ako kasi I'm partnered with multiple financial companies, and it would be unfair if if sabihin ko kung sino yung the best or kung saan dapat it would be unfair if I promote a particular bank or a particular financial institution. But just to answer your question, basically basta mag-keep ka lang, pag nag-for good ka na, basta mag-keep ka lang ng minimum balance, hindi naman magsasara yung yung bank account mo. And basically, Singapore financial institutions, banks, insurance companies, investment platforms are with SDIC, Singapore Deposit Insurance Corporation. Ayan po yung poprotekta ng mga funds nyo, ng mga accounts nyo, just in case may mangyaring hindi maganda in terms of, risks, default risk, market risk, etc. Ayan. But if you have further questions, you can, later po I'll be flashing, QR code again on how you can reach out to me. Ayan. Sir Eugene, passing it to you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think at this point, we want to ask if you have any more final message, and if you want to share your QR code, please do.
Yes. Okay, so final message, guys. I just want to point out that I would like to say that Filipinos in Singapore, needs to have options and fair comparisons in terms of financial planning. Okay, and this is where a representative of a financial advisory firm can help you for. So like I said, we're able to give you different options from different companies para po ma-achieve natin yung mga personal goals ninyo and give you unbiased financial planning that is client-centric. Yeah, so I feel that this is something that Filipinos should experience. However, guys, I would appreciate it if you scan this QR code. In this QR code, yeah, meron po tayong konting giveaway, and I will contact you if you win this. Scan the QR code. There's a survey form over there, and that is how you can contact me too. And also my QR code dun sa sa 6 Jars Money Management. That 6 Jars Money Management leads to my WhatsApp. So pwede niyo po akong kontakin doon, no problem. But ultimately, if you want me to contact you, you may scan this QR code and then fill in your details. Ayan, may mga questions po doon, like filter questions, so that I can roughly gauge what is it that you're looking for and how I can help you in terms of financial planning. Yes, guys, please scan, scan nyo lang po. No worries. Yeah. We'll leave this here for another minute perhaps dahil po matatapos na po ang session natin. Back to you, Sir Eugene.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rico. Again, for those who are live on Facebook and other social media of Philippine Bayanihan Singapore, please do scan the survey form and have a chance to win this voucher. Okay, and also we'd like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Rico for that very informative and very good talk regarding financial literacy and financial freedom. So before we end, we just want to mention that the Philippine Bayanihan Society is the 2021 Philippine Presidential Award. This is the Kaanib ng Bayan Award. So you can find us in 43 Pasir Panjang Road, and these are our contact numbers. If you need to reach out, you can see the email and also our number. So the PBBS is also the Tambayan of a Filipino organization. This is our social media page, our Facebook page, our Instagram, and also our YouTube channel. So for any support, please go to www.giving.sg bayanihan.com/PBSS. For any sponsorship opportunities, please contact our email. That's bayanihancenter@singnet.com.sg. For any of your donation, kindly put the UEN number that you can see on the screen, or easier is kindly scan the QR code that you can see right now. So again, thank you very much. Before we end, we would like to let you know that the Bayanihan Walk for 2024 is now open for registration. It's open for both individual and group organization. So this is our yearly event. For this year, the theme is Hakbang para sa Bayanihan. This will be conducted on 20 October 2024, starting 8 in the morning. So for those who are our regulars for the past many years, thank you for your loyal support. For those who are learning about this for the first time, please do register. So again, thank you very much for joining us today's session. Maraming salamat again, Mr. Rico.
Salamat.
Our fourth webinar will be scheduled. Hold on. Okay, so our fourth webinar this year under Bayanihan Talk series. This is our fourth webinar for this year. We hope this has been a fruitful discussion for each one of you. Our next Bayanihan webinar, we will announce it on our Facebook page and on Instagram. So for now, magandang gabi, and in behalf of our president, Mr. Ranbir, maraming salamat, and we'll see you on the next webinar. See you soon.